What's going on, Tech fans, man? Welcome back to another great episode, man, of the Citizen News Podcast, man. We got a treat for you guys. Can't wait to talk to Afterswarm, man. He's in the building. We're going to talk to him just a little bit about the great stuff that he's working on, how he's connecting with the kids, man. It's going to be an exclusive interview. So we're excited for that. We're going to get into, obviously, some with, with Nico's situation. The transfer portal's opening up. A couple guys is already hitting it, man. So should be a lot of fun. Shout out to Anthony Perez already tapping in, man. Yes, sir, man. We are back and blessed to be here, man. Appreciate you, my brother, for checking in and tuning into the pod, man. But yeah, we got a lot of fun. Jimmy Hedlesky hit the portal. Hunter Till just announced he's hitting the portal. Wendell Gregory hit the portal. We're going to break all that stuff down, guys. We know very well. And we'll break down a little bit of the 7-7-on-7 tournament, man. But I'm bringing on my co-host before we welcome on Afterswarm here in just a little bit.
Yo, what's going on?
Good, bro. How's everything?
Everything's good, man. You know, the sun is shining, the weather is sweet. You know what I'm saying? The pollen's a little high, but we good, man. Just ready to talk this Just Citizen News on the Just Citizen News podcast for sure.
100%, man. And just real quick, we bring on Afterswarm. Just what was your thoughts of just the spring game before we dive fully into it?
Oh man, the spring game was electric, man. I was very pleased with the offense. I like the way everything was clicking. Like I said, the receivers, like you said, the same thing as well. Receivers is like 9, 10, possibly 11 deep. I like the tight end, just the way everything was moving. The DBs was flying around, man. Even though we didn't get to see everybody in the, you know what I'm saying, in that group, but I was thoroughly impressed, man. You know what I'm saying? I like what I seen on the scene.
And then last thing, just your thoughts on just the receivers in general, with everybody being out.
Yeah, like I said, I was very thoroughly impressed with the receivers. You know what I mean? We got to see Luke Harper, you know what I'm saying? Caught a lot of volume. Number 7, Billy Stockton.
Yep.
I think he's gonna be a big target. And the Brian Gatlin, you know what I'm saying? Sophomore coming in, didn't get to see a lot of time. I don't think any time in South Carolina. I think he's gonna be a very key piece. We saw him run a variations of routes. We saw him in some wide receiver screen. We saw him in some, I'm saying, some what is it called? Some go routes, some go balls, kind of like maybe some little skinny posts. But yeah. You know what I'm saying, with him just getting on campus, it shows you how fast he's learned the playbook and how well it's going to get mixed in early on. So I was impressed.
100%. All right, man. We have Afterswarm in the background laughing, man. So let's go ahead and bring him on. He's ready to rock. What's going on, my brother? We appreciate you tuning in, man. Why you laughing, man? It's funny, man.
Bro, my man, he's like he was running the killing. How y'all doing, man? Happy to be here.
Good.
Yes, sir, man. Get an audience a little bit of background, man. Just what you do, man. You guys are different. Obviously appreciate you coming on the show, man. But just talk about all the great stuff that you guys do in the background, man.
Yeah, man. We obviously a small kind of operation right now. Really only been going for about 2 months. I think we officially kind of got off the ground, or really 3 at this point. Really got off the ground around January 15th of 2025. But what we aim to do is kind of provide a different avenue of Georgia Tech coverage. We do, especially during the season, we have a Substack that people can subs to, a free option and a paid option, a $10 a month subscription, or kind of, they're able to kind of pledge a specific amount per month, whatever they want to. And that comes with, paid articles, and then we do some free articles and stuff during the season. And then we also do a forum-based website that you would, see kind of like a rival site, a 24/7 site, but we kind of run that on our own too. We charge a subscription for that, $10 a month. But the key is that we don't keep any of that money. I'm not using any of that money to line my own pockets. The Lord has blessed me to be able to provide for my family without having to do that. So we take the money that we get every month and we donate it to the Tech Way. So right now, as 2 months in, we've been able to donate close to $1,500 to the Tech Way just from the subscriptions that we have kind of gained from our forum site and from the Substack. And it's been going well, man. Between the 2 sites, we got about 100 subscribers right now. We're growing, still trying to pump out content, trying to figure it out. I'm not a journalist. I got a team that kind of helps run some stuff on the on the back end too, and they got full-time jobs just like everybody else. But we're just trying to do what we can and support the Yellow Jackets, man. We love Georgia Tech and want to see them be great, so we're trying to play our part.
Yeah, 100%. If you can, Ms. Nancy obviously commented and said, love how you give it to the Tech NIL. Just talk about this year's support. Obviously, I know you love the program, but just talk about how it all works. So you obviously take it. Is there a place you just go online and you donate? How does that whole process work?
Yeah, we started working with with the Tech Ray directly. Well, before we even started, we had a couple meetings with them to kind of figure out what was the best thing for us to do, how we could work out a partnership, and we're still kind of in contact with them, trying to figure out what that can look like later on down the road. But essentially, I have that kind of set up to a bank account that, obviously I'm not using it. I don't really have access to that bank account, and then gone in and kind of just like any other person would kind of set up our Techway account, and it doesn't have my name on it. The account says the Afterswarm as the account name, and anytime we get our money in, it comes into that bank account. Once it's time for our Techway donation to come in every month, they automatically take it out, and it goes from there. So it's been a seamless process. It's been really easy. Right now, we mainly give that to football because it's kind of what we're focusing on right now. But as we get bigger and grow, we'd love to to expand and cover more teams and give more teams the coverage that we do football. But yeah, right now is focused mainly on football, and we kind of let the automations do all the work. We just kind of take the money, it comes in and it goes out, like as simple as that.
100%. And then just let's get your thoughts. Let's break it down. Got a lot of Tech fans is in here. I'm going to share a couple of the comments. 14-0 or bus.
My guy, Rick, let's go.
Yes, sir. He's in here as well. And then obviously this last comment before we get your thoughts. Every dime we have NIL money, it has to be thrown at D-line. Just what's your overall assessment of the spring game? And what caught your eye? Let's break it down. You can go each position. Just let's break it down. What is your thoughts from the spring game?
Yeah, I would say what caught my eye the most is, and I think this might be an underrated deal. I know everybody's trying to forget about he who shall not be named, our former head coach. But man, I think if you look at the spring game, his third spring game versus Brent Key's third spring game, I think you see the difference, and I think that is a huge barometer to look at of where the program is and where the trajectory of the program is. One thing that really kind of caught my eye was the DBs. I felt like were granted, hey, it's a spring game. We know the defense is going to be vanilla. They're not going to put anything on film, but I felt like the DBs were everywhere. You didn't see any crazy takedowns in coverage. You didn't see any DBs playing in no man's land. Everybody felt like knew their assignment. They knew what they were doing, and it showed. I mean, you had 2 interceptions in that spring game from 2 different cornerbacks. So I think it was great to see. I think the DB room we've seen the ups and downs of our defensive backs, and so I think the best days of our DB room are ahead of us. Another thing that caught my eye, man, was the receivers. I feel like the receivers look so good, and even names that you wouldn't expect. I think Bailey Stockton's going to be a weapon. I think he's going to be nasty come fall. DeBron Gatlin, like he said, kind of shocked us and played well, man. Running those go routes, running the skinny post, running the screens, really showing off his ability to run routes. But then I think the encouraging part is seeing how the wide receivers played, knowing the ones that you had sitting out, knowing the ones that you had on the sidelines that didn't touch the field at all on Saturday, I think is a big deal. Malik Rutherford, he is a known and proven product. So you know what you get with him on the field. And then obviously Eric Rivers and Dean Patterson, like those guys are proven. You know what you're getting in those guys. So to be able to see our receivers play the way that they did, knowing who we have waiting in the wings, waiting to get healthy, who they're holding back, it's exciting. And then again, probably my biggest takeaway, my favorite one is the running back room. Can we just talk for a second how deep that running back room is going to be, bro? You got J.P. Powell, who has crazy speed. Like he hits the holes and goes. And I just did not – I knew he was fast, but to see game speed fast, is
Nice.
different. You got
That
Trelane
early,
Maddox.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Like first
Early.
snaps, first couple of snaps, and you see the confidence, you see the power that he runs with. It's exciting. You got Trelane Maddox coming off that ACL injury, his senior year of high school, and then I believe it was his foot last season that held him out some games. Then you got obviously Jamal Haynes, you know what he brings, and then you got Malachi Hosley. Haven't really you didn't see really any from him in the spring game. You got him wetting the wings. You got Shane Marshall that's going to be here in the fall. Like that running back room is. I would say between our running back room, our quarterback room, and our wide receiver room, I think all three of those rooms can compete for top 3 in the ACC. Might be a hot take, but I think I think our running back room might be number 1 in the ACC.
I don't disagree. Yeah, the only one the only one you can say maybe compete is maybe Clemson. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? And he just lost Phil Maffa. You know what I'm saying? So they got to kind of retool, what they're going to do. But no, 100% agree. I mean, the running back depth, that's going to be crucial. You obviously highlighted those things. The wide receivers, the DBs, they all looked really good. But if you had to say an area that Tech needs to hit in the portal or we need to target, maybe get some more depth, I got to get your thoughts about bringing Bacon in here. What area does Tech need to hit in this portal? Our portal opens on Wednesday. What we need to hit?
Are you got it? Or are you going to me?
No, I'm going to you.
Okay. Defensive line, easily. I think that is the one area. Even last year, I think you saw a little bit of it. I think Haynes King obviously playing with one arm essentially for the back half of the season, and you saw us pull out some games. The fact that we beat Miami with 2 quarterbacks and that whole situation is absolutely insane. I think you see our team take another step last year if we had a better defensive line. Just simple as that. I think this year is the opportunity for us to really solidify ourselves as a player in the ACC as well as a country if we improve on the defensive line. I think every other position group has the makings to be a dangerous team to play against, regardless of who we're playing. But that defensive line, we got to find some dudes. Either the dudes that we got in the portal in the winter portal cycle are going to have to step up, and I've heard some good things about those guys. But we're going to we need more depth. I think that's what the issue was last year. I think we had some pieces. We had some guys who could play and who could get to the quarterback. And obviously, you look at our rushing defense was phenomenal last year. But I think the depth is what killed us. When we rotate guys in, there's a huge drop off between the 1s and the 2s. So if you can shorten that gap, I think you're in a good position.
I don't disagree. I'm right there with you. That definitely is a cause of concern still. I think they're going to be really good, like in the defensive line in terms of just their interior. With Jordan Vandenberg, he's a beast, and you add him with Matthew Alexander, they're going to be very stout. But like you said, it's the edge rushers. Who's going to emerge for Georgia Tech? You know what I'm saying? Now, I watched the game. I seen Braden Manley start to kind of heat up towards the end of the half, right? Got a pass deflection, creating pressures. The 2 freshmen, Andre Fuller, had a sack. So that gives me a little bit, okay, cool, we got a little something here. But like you said, we need more. It cannot be a drop-off when the 1s come out and the 2s come in. So they got to get somebody in the portal. They need impact edge rushers. Because like you said, that's the difference from you playing in an ACC title game and you possibly winning 8 games. Those are the differences because you got to get pressure on the quarterback. They struggled in that category last year. They ranked at the bottom. So to your point, Afterswarm, I agree.
Yeah, we had 7 sacks last year, if that. We really, and we had 7 sacks last year, and I think 3 of them came in that Miami game. So you really look at it, we really did not do anything on the defensive line. Now, where I'll give the defensive line the credit, and Jess Simpson did an incredible job, was the run defense. I thought the run defense was next level, and that was really, really encouraging to see because so many times, I think as a Georgia Tech fan over the last couple of years, you watch any other team in the country, and your defense has the opposing team third and 15, 3rd and 12. You feel pretty good about getting off the field. I didn't feel good about getting off the field until they had already punted the ball and we're going to commercial break. Like you just never know what to expect. Oh, they might break out, a draw up the middle and they gain 20 yards, or they might hit us with a quick post or a quick slant and get a first down. So I felt like our team knew how to get off the field this year with the run defense, really kind of limiting what they could do. But I think really two spots. I think the DB room and the defensive line. Defensive line, we got to get some guys in the portal. DB room's got to step up this year for us to be successful.
For sure. Go ahead and get in here, Bacon.
Everything you said, brother, I agree with. But I want to get both of y'all perspective just on the linebackers, the linebacker group. So we all know about Kyle Efer, but just who else, in your opinion, is going to stand out? Because, like I said, it was a lot of missing pieces on Saturday.
That's a good one. I think the linebacker room could be solid. I think I really, really like Tajay Butler. I think he had a really solid freshman season. I think he could take a huge step up. You're getting hopefully, prayerfully, a healthy EJ Lightsey, who I think could step up and be a leader of that linebacker room. You got a guy that I'm, kind of excited about that I think is kind of flying under the radar a little bit is Kamen Spalding, the guy we got from Tennessee State, I believe. I think he reminds me. He's a little smaller weight-wise, but reminds me a lot of Charlie Thomas. And so you remember how, Charlie Thomas plays sideline to sideline. He's got speed, but he can hit. He's not afraid to get in there. I think Kamen Spalding can kind of play that role. And then you got Kyle Efer holding it down in there. So I think the linebacker room, man, I'm excited. This might be the best linebacker room we've had in several years. So it'll be cool to see those guys mesh, see how they play well. And then obviously we got Melvin Jordan from Oregon State added in there too, who is a solid product, who's got experience, who's talented. I don't think there's anything to worry about there.
For sure. So, just from listening to your track record, brother, you know a lot more about the Tech history than definitely I do and maybe Najeh. But who does this team remind you of from previous years? Or do you feel like this is just a new brand of style under Coach Key?
Dang, that's a good question. Man, I would say I think we've had some really special teams over the last few years. I think that I want to say 2016. That 2016 we had Taquan Marshall's quarterback. I think it's that first game of the year was Tennessee. Lost a heartbreaker in Mercedes-Benz in our first game in the Benz. It reminds me of that team because there's so much excitement around that team because obviously 2014, maybe it wasn't 2016, maybe it's 2017 we played Tennessee, but we had just had a solid season, a lot of buzz around that 2016 team. Obviously, they did some great things, and so I kind of see that same deal where the trajectory of the team, the expectation of the team is kind of rising. I think that 2016 team really kind of stepped up and improved themselves. I kind of see the same deal with this year's team. We saw them take some steps forward from last year, from 2023. I think Brent Key's done a great job. He's made some really key hires, has not missed on a hire yet, in my opinion. And I think that is the biggest piece of it. Because I think everybody will agree, you could be a great head coach, but your team is only going to be as good as your assistant coaches. So you have to hit on hires, and I think he's hit on those. So I think the team is poised for a really, really solid season. But I think we got to figure out a way to turn that Georgia Tech look to where some of those balls bounce in our direction sometimes. Because I think, man, it hurts to go back and watch, and I have not gone back and watched the game in full yet. But that Georgia game, man, was brutal to watch, bro. It was brutal. I watched it. I don't know if I said I actually live in Texas now. I live in Houston, and so I'm watching it. Obviously, all my friends and stuff are back home in Georgia, and so I got people texting me with 5 minutes left, in the game, saying, "Hey, man, congratulations, y'all played a good game." And I text them back. I say, "Hey, man, it's too early. It's too early. I've seen this movie too many times. Don't text me." And we see what happened. But you think if we get that targeting call from Dan Jackson hitting Haynes King on that fumble, the game goes differently. If Aiden Burr makes that field goal in the first half, the game probably goes differently. And what will we be looking at trajectory wise if we win that game? We win 8 games for the first time in 10 years. You got a lot of hype coming in. Probably changes the bowl game that we play in. That probably changes the recruits, the type of portal guys that are interested to come in. Like, it probably changes the whole trajectory and the whole look of this 2025 Georgia Tech team. So I just think, you got to have luck. You got to have, balls bounce that way. So I think if we can do that and we can just play the type of football that Brent Key wants to play, I think we'll be in good shape, man. But for me, it's about stacking years, like improving, making those steps to kind of get back into national prominence.
Someone asked you about the 2001 team. Said 2001 GT with Godsey and Cass. I don't know that deep. I was only 4 years old, to be honest. So
you might know 7. I don't know that much either. But Godsey was nasty. He was nasty. And then, and Rec Talk is right. Brent Key was on that team. And I think anytime you talk about, 1990, like late 80s, 90s, early 2000s Georgia Tech teams, you're talking about teams that play the same way that Brent Key wants to play, and that's toughness. Mm-hmm. That's teams looking at the schedule and saying, man, I don't want to play Georgia Tech because I know I'm gonna be sore the next week coming off that game. Like, they're gonna be physical. It's the whole reason why Nick Saban canceled the Alabama series with Georgia Tech, because he didn't want to play against that triple option and have to deal with the cut blocks and everything like that. Like, teams didn't want to play, Georgia Tech at that point. And then we deal with, the 3.5 years that we had to deal with before. And now I think we're finally getting back to where people look at Georgia Tech on the schedule and we're not an easy out. They're like, all right, we actually got to play. We got to prepare, and we got to be prepared to play tough against this Georgia Tech team. So I'm happy to be able to watch that and to be able to watch a game and be like, hey, yeah, we can win this game. Like if we win this game, it wouldn't be a surprise. I walked into the living room when we're playing Florida State, in Ireland. I say, I think we can win this game. I don't think that it would be super fast. And obviously we went out and did it in crazy fashion, but you got to have that kind of confidence. And I think Brent Key gives us that.
For sure. I want to ask you this question too, man. I know, big Tech fan. I was a little disappointed, and I get it. I get why they're bringing the old-fashioned hate to the bands, but I want to see it come back to the Bible Dive one more time before we send it off into the big city, man. So just what was your thoughts when you heard that news? If anyone else in the comments is hearing this, just voice your opinion right now, please.
Man, I at first it's tough because we hadn't beat Georgia in Atlanta since 2004. So almost 21 years. I think I could be wrong. Rec Talk. I'm sure he'll correct me. We haven't beat Georgia and Atlanta in forever. So to me, it's like, it'd be cool to be at Bobby Dodd. I think the energy of the game at Bobby Dodd last year was insane. And then how we played Georgia in Athens this year. I think if we play at Bobby Dodd this year, I think we might blow the roof off the place. I think it might be an electric atmosphere. But as we all know, and especially in this new world of college football, money talks. Mm-hmm. If you come to me and you say, hey, if you play this one game in Mercedes-Benz, I'll give you $10 million. I'm like, hey, where do I sign? You ain't got to pay anything else. That's an easy ask. Now, I don't know where that money goes. I don't know if that's money that we can use for NIL and for players. Like, I don't know how that works. I don't know the motivation behind where they have plans to use that money, but we're not going to make $10 million playing that game at Bobby Dodd. So I think you gotta take the money. I think you gotta be smart, especially in this new world where realignment is imminent, it seems, and money's king, man. You got to take it when you can get it. So I was upset about it at first, but once the figures started coming out, I was like, hey, man, I don't blame you for that. That's an easy business decision.
Yeah, this comment from Rambling Wreck with Zach Jones said, terrible move, but money is money, I guess. Don't want to ever do this again, though. And then Red Talk said we haven't beat UGA and Bobby Dodd since
99.
1999. So
1999. So I was 5, bro. I'm 31. So yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, it is what it is, but I think those days are over. I think the days where like the Georgia Tech game just being a non-competition and being a kind of a warm-up or a glorified practice for Georgia before the playoffs or before bowl season or whatever, I think are over. So I'm excited to see us take another step, and I'm excited to see us beat Georgia next year, man. I think it's definitely on the table, and I think we can do it. So it'd be sweet to beat them in Atlanta, but I'd like to beat them at Bobby Dodd and make it even sweeter.
It ain't gonna hit the same, man. It ain't gonna hit the same. But before I throw it back to Najeh, got Miss Nancy right here. The players love being able to play at NBS too. You know what I'm saying? People love the bands. I ain't gonna lie. I like the atmosphere there.
Comments going crazy. Sorry, y'all.
Are you good? Rectar, I think Tech is ahead of the curve on the neutral site rivalry games. You'll see other teams start doing this.
I do agree with that. I agree with that, especially if you got networks that are willing to foot the bill and pay money. I agree, because again, man, it is business. At the end of the day, it's a business decision. If you got an opportunity to make a couple extra bucks, might as well.
Facts. You want to be like Bill Belichick and drop that bag into a quarterback when the time is necessary, but I don't think that time's going to be anytime soon. We got a lot of them in the fold. But before I throw it back to Najeh, brother, it was a loaded 2025 class. So give me 3, but if you want to do 2, just give me your 2 or 3 favorite freshmen out of this 2025 class.
It's a good question. That's a good question too, man. I think I got to go with. I'll give you 3. I'll go with 2 of the obvious. I think Josh Petty, Tay Harris, I think are probably 2 of the most important recruits that Georgia Tech has brought in the last 5-6 years. Josh Petty is our highest rated recruit in a really long time. I think that's something worth talking about. And Tay Harris, I think, is an impact dude who's going to be able to impact the team day one. I mean, I think does he start? I don't know if I'm ready to say that on camera, but I think he's got a pretty solid. Chance. Now I think Omar Daniels. We saw Omar Daniels, especially the tail end of last season, really start to come on and just was everywhere and play super well. And then you got Clayton Powell-Lee. He's got the experience. This is his senior year. Last kind of deal. So I don't see Tay Harris breaking into that starting role unless something crazy happens with Omar Daniels. But I think Tay Harris is a solid impact player from day one. I think Josh Petty has got some work to do, obviously, in the weight room. He's got to get some weight up. But I think technique-wise, I think he's what you want in an offensive lineman. And then one that's probably a little more under radar, maybe not talked about as much. I might have to go with Dalen. I think Dalen Pinson's probably been talked about a lot, so that's not really an under the radar pick. Maybe Jamari Bryce, maybe Jordan Allen, 2 guys that have speed that do what Buster Faulkner wants to do in the offense really, really well. I could see Jordan Allen at some point kind of taking that role from, that we saw Eric Singleton Jr. have, kind of that burner on the outside type role. I could see him having that kind of impact. Also in kick return, punt return. I think those are 3 dudes that I would be looking for. And then I think you got Andre Fuller, you got Christian Garrett on the defensive line. I think you got a lot of dudes. This class was loaded. You got a lot of dudes to pay attention to. But I would say Jordan Allen, Josh Petty, Tay Harris. I think those are 3 that kind of catch my attention. I do think Josh Petty ends up being in the 2 deep. I think he'll be in the rotation. He's just got to get some weight.
I can see that.
Speaking of Petty, there it is. Petty was doing amazing in the spring game. For him to still be only around 270, he was protecting the blind side with his life. He said Petty will be elite when he puts weight on.
Yeah, so he's definitely got the potential, man. He's got to practice. My guy Brady, what up, Brady?
Afterswarm to the moon, man. You had somebody else comment. Hold on, let me say. They like your content, bro. Afterswarm is great, awesome content. So Augusta Swarm. He always support my content, man. Shout out to you also for that comment as well. But man, let's get to the biggest news of this week, man. So some of it caused controversy. Georgia State wasn't too happy, man. So, but my brother, I gotta ask you, man, just your thoughts on that whole situation. I'm about to pull it up right here. I'll start, and then I want you to follow me after Swarm. First off, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully to, obviously, Georgia State. I graduated. I'm a Georgia State alum. I graduated there. But when I look at it, my whole standpoint is, for Tech, this is great. You already play Georgia every year. You add another SEC opponent. Tech was up to like number 4 in the ratings last year, I believe, in the ACC, just in terms of what they was able to garner. So you play a team like a Tennessee, you know, who the last few seasons has been pretty good. Obviously in the SEC this past year, what made it to college football playoff. That's going to help you a lot. You can just measure up where you're at, and then you get to see where your program is currently at in the college football world in the spectrum. So I think, you know, Atlanta, you're going to draw a big audience, obviously, for them, you know, wanting to come in and tune into them. And then on the road as well. That next year, obviously, 27 will be tough because you got Notre Dame and Knoxville, and you have Arkansas State on the road, which is tough. But I think for Coach Key to schedule like this, he wants to see where his team currently is, not this year necessarily, but in the future. And I think it's going to just garner and generate numbers that Georgia Tech is trying to do. But what is your reaction to that?
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think dropping that Georgia State home and home, man, I get it. I know you're an alum. I think Georgia State fans probably need to calm down a little bit. It's like, hey, bro, like, yo, this was not ever a rivalry. This was never going to happen. Now, I think Georgia State had a pretty good team a couple years ago. Obviously, they made some noise. I don't think they're there yet. Like Georgia Tech, I don't think Georgia Tech was worried about having to play Georgia State in Turner Field, or I don't remember. I don't know what it's called. Is it Park Field or something like that?
That's it.
Yeah. Whatever. You know, I don't think that was an issue, but I think what you said, you know, Georgia Tech was the number 1 watch team in the ACC last season. I think this is gonna it's gonna solidify that even more. You play a Tennessee. Next year you play Georgia. Obviously, you play like those marquee matchups, and I think Brent Key's not afraid to schedule these games because I think Brent Key has a vision for where he wants to go, and so you never really know where you stack up, where you're trying to get if you don't take shots. And so, like this game for us playing Tennessee, we're playing with house money. We don't really have anything to lose playing Tennessee. If we lose, you know, hey, like Tennessee was, you know, hey, they're the 4th ranked team in the country. They're a hot up and coming team right now. They made the college football playoff, like whatever, sure. But we win that game, we earn more respect. You know, we take another step to getting back into that national spotlight. And like I said, man, I think football is the kind of game where like anybody can beat anybody. Like we saw Georgia Southern beat Florida. You know, like 10 years ago, like a game that should have never happened. You saw, Michigan get upset by a no-name team. Like we've seen games like that happen before, and it's like anybody can beat anybody. So I think Brent Key again wants to play tough, and he's playing a tough schedule to greater reinforce that. And even then, it brings back that Tennessee Georgia Tech rivalry. So that'll be cool to see again and to see us play that game. And to bring some of that history back. So I'm all for it, man. I think it's great.
Bacon, what's the show reaction? What's your thoughts on the series?
Nah, man, it's a synonymous theme. You want to up the score so you can eventually, because they hit the recruiting scene real hard. Like we saw at Kell High School, Kirby and Brent Key, they sit on the same row. He really wants to dominate the recruiting in-state and then branch out. And when you just playing bigger more caliber experienced teams or got more clout, if you want to say that, you win those battles, you eventually win those big recruiting battles, and you build off this 2025 class moving forward. So, so you got to go big.
Yeah, I think it'll help with recruiting. It'll help with revenue. Like, I think it's gonna help, man.
There it is. All right, man. Let's get to No, my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
All right, man. So I want to get your reaction, man. We got a couple comments as well, man. Shout out to who is this? Christian Adams, man. What's going on, my brother? Appreciate you tuning in into the show, man. Much love as well. And obviously, she agreed with your point. Miss Nancy agreed with your point after Storm about it helping with recruiting. But yeah, I want to get your reaction to this. We got a comment too to go along with this. But Saeed Gibbs hit the portal. He said, the comment says, I just don't understand why Saeed Gibbs would transfer. Injuries happen, stuff happens a lot in the DB room, like Gideon said. He don't care who you are. If you can ball, you touch the field, just doesn't make sense. What's just your reaction to that comment? And just in general, obviously, Saeed Gibbs hitting the portal.
Hey, man, it happens. I agree. I think Saeed Gibbs had some good moments, but I think he also had some really bad ones. I think he had some really kind of bonehead plays. If I remember right, I want to say Saeed Gibbs had more pass interference calls than any other DB on Georgia Tech's roster last season. And some of those came in some pretty big moments. And so it is what it is. I think we lose a piece when it comes to depth, when it comes to experience. But I think he just got jumped. I think he came in. I think Blake Gideon has a specific type of DB he wants to play, and I think I just don't think he made the cut. So I look at him as a guy that was probably wasn't. It was. I mean, it's his decision, but it probably wasn't really his decision. I think he's probably encouraged to transfer and to look elsewhere. But I think we had high hopes for him coming in. You see, he's a freshman All-American in 2023, and you look at that, and you're like, all right, well, hey, like obviously you got to have some kind of talent, some kind of experience to be able to do that. I just don't think it translated well with kind of the new defensive staff and what they want to see. So it's tough, but at the same time, man, like it happens. So I'm not super worried about it. I expect us to be active in the portal to go find a couple more DBs. Yes. You had a couple, that just announced just in the last 2 hours that they're planning on hitting the portal. One of them at Georgia State. So with Corey Peoples having that connection there, I expect that to be a guy that they look at and kind of kick the tires on. But I think expect us to be active in the portal for sure.
There you go. And obviously rambling on with Zach Jones agrees with you. You said most obviously pass interference call says PI call versus UGA was disastrous. He had a PI versus Miami too. I believe he may have been the DB on the Louisville highlight PITD too. So there you have it. Bacon, what's just your thoughts of Saeed Gibbs hitting the portal?
Yeah, man. This definitely probably losing the spotlight. We saw the young man during the spring game in the all black, didn't have a number on. I can't remember his name, but he was balling. So that's
Cedric
probably
Franklin.
Say it again.
Cedric Franklin.
I'm assuming that's where Gibbs probably thought he was going to fit into the scheme. But it's probably a little bit of encouragement. It's in today's era. I'm saying you don't want to sit with not with your turn, but you feel like you overpass. So you want to overextend and see what you can get out there in the market. That's just the temperature of college football we're in. Some people will say like, you need to, remain loyal. But at the end of the day, man, you only got so many years to play the game you love on the college level, so you want to get the most out of your career so you can possibly, move up the ranks and get a promotion.
Good point. Right. And keep in mind too, Saeed Gibbs had a coverage rating of 50.6 according to PFF. So like, not too great. Not too great. A 56.1 PFF grade when it comes, or 54.1, excuse me, defensive grade as a whole. So, it's not really. But I want to say he was probably the third worst rated DB on our roster this year behind Lamiles Brooks and Tay Seymour, if I remember right. So that says a lot if you watch those two guys play this year. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, they weren't too good. They were too good. Yeah, for sure. 100% agree there, man. Yeah, I agree with y'all. I think the room is just too deep. I think they'll hit a couple DBs. Obviously, I've talked to a couple sources within Georgia Tech. They're going to be aggressive when it comes to that, and trying to get a couple guys in for the DB room. So I definitely expect them to sign a couple guys. But I think they feel the cornerback position. They feel really good about. They do. Amari Harvey. Talked about Cedric Franklin. They'll bring in Dalen Pinson. They got some dudes that can play. Kelvin Hill, he had 6 tackles in the school game. He was special. Like they got guys all over the field, and I think this DB room, and y'all can put me on record, quote this and screenshot it and video it, whatever you want to do. I think this is going to be one of the best DB rooms in the country. I really do. But how fast they were playing, yes, Afterswarm. But how fast they were playing with Blake Gideon and his pedigree and his record, and what he did with that defense last year with Michael Tabb, Janae Barron. Yes, I think this is going to be one of the best, and they're going to surprise a lot of people. But I think it's going to be one of the best DB rooms in the country for sure.
Wow. All right. Hey, if that's the case, bro, we win in 12 games. We going 12-0. If we got the best DB room in the country, we going 12-0, bro. That has been our Achilles heel, bro. Like we had who was it? Even Cam Ward. Cam Ward played probably like we held them to their lowest point total all season long. Yes. All season long. And I want to say Cam Ward still. I'm trying to find it because I gotta find it. Cam Ward still threw for 350 yards.
Insane.
Like we can't cover anybody. So like, if we got the best defensive back room in the country, I'm legitimately expecting us to win 12 games, bro. Because if we can stop the run and we can cover on the back end. Nobody on our ACC schedule this year is beating us. You know, you got Clemson, but if we do those two things, I mean, I know that's football in general, but you know, whatever.
Nah.
What's your thought on the Qs game? That's a big game of homecoming. You know, Coach Fran Brown ain't coming to play. It's kind of like it's something that kind of spilling over, and we'll see how it comes to fruition on homecoming.
Bro, there are 3 teams that I hate. Georgia's number 1. Virginia Tech is number 2.
Okay.
And then Virginia Tech's number 2, and then North Carolina is number 3. Syracuse is making a strong push to jump into that number 2 spot, bro.
Why is that?
Stand Syracuse. I don't like Fran Brown. I think the dude is I think he's kind of corny. I don't like to call people corny because I know like whatever works for them and their personality. But that weird, especially if you watched Brent Key's press conference the week of that game and you watch what he said and then you watch what Fran Brown says, it's like none of that makes any sense. Why there's any – the dude said – he said, yeah, we were at the same place, but like I was offense, he was defense. We didn't really – like I know who he is, but we're not best friends. And there's no lie there. So for him to kind of fabricate this weird beef and, you know, bulletin board material and feed it to his team to motivate them, if that's what you got to do to motivate your team, bro, are you a good coach? Because I don't think that was necessary. But like Rec Talk said, bro, they beat the dog mess out of us that game. But then you look at it, bro, like we played a C+ game and we only lost by 3.
Yeah.
Darner came back and won. No one talks about that though. Mm-hmm. Darner came back. Like, y'all got that outside. I think they come back and win that.
100%.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, Cuse they do have a really tough schedule without a Heisman level quarterback. I mean, again, no offense to Georgia State, but they're looking at bringing in Zach Gibson to be their quarterback. If he's leaning on Zach Gibson, who will be on his 4th school to do anything, good luck.
Okay. He couldn't even start at Georgia State, though, respectfully.
No, because he's not. I'm on camera. I'm a chill.
I'm
not at the barbershop with the boys, bro. I'm on camera on the internet. I'm a chill.
That's that Houston.
Oh man,
that's gonna get canceled.
Go ahead, Becky, if you got any more.
Since we're talking about Syracuse, man, we gotta talk about, you know what I'm saying, get your thoughts on Colorado, man. That's a big game. We all know what's going on out there in Colorado. They're going to Boulder. It's gonna be everybody and their mama and their favorite celebrity out there. So will this team be ready for that type of atmosphere?
Yes. 100%.
Yes, for sure.
I will be at that game. I'm hyped. I usually, now that I'm in Texas, I try to get to at least one game a year. That is the game that I'm gonna go to, and then I'm gonna try to make it to one in Atlanta as well. But I think they will be ready. I think Brent Key will lean on the experience that he had going to Ireland this past season and using that same kind of experience, same motivation, same tactics for Colorado. I don't think that really changes the atmosphere much, especially when you're playing in front of a bunch of fans who didn't know who Colorado football was 3 years ago. So I think that changes things. You got fans. I will say I think that is an underrated deal. I think you got fans who, when you have fans like that, I think you got a bunch of fans who don't know how to cheer for a team or support a team when they're not beating somebody 42-0. How do you support your team when the game's 14-17? If you're a fair weather fan and you're just there for Deion Sanders, you don't know how to respond because you've just been told Deion Sanders is the best coach in the country, but now you're not seeing that on the field. So how do you respond? Can you stay engaged in the game in your own place? So I think you can see that kind of play into it a little bit. But man, I'm not worried about Colorado. You lose a Heisman winner, you lose your quarterback, both of those two hooking up, they combine for what, probably 60 to 70% of Colorado's offensive production. I ain't too worried about it. And their offensive line is garbage. So there's also that.
So can we get a score prediction or is it too early?
Ooh, I think it's a little early. I think it depends on who their starting quarterback is. If Juju wins out and is their starting quarterback, you got a true freshman who kind of slid a little bit in some rankings, and they were really high on him towards the beginning of the season and kind of backed off a little bit towards the end. So there's a little weird there. And then you got the guy from Liberty, Keaton Salter coming in. So I think, going from Liberty to Big 12 football, does that translate? What does that look like? So we'll see. I would say I think Tech wins by 2 touchdowns at least. I will say that. I think we win comfortably. How comfortably? What did that look like in the first half versus the second half? I don't know if I'm willing to say yet.
There we have it, folks. We high on the Jackets, just, you know what I'm saying, for lack of better words, high on the Jackets.
31-28 GT. This from Arcs WTF, man. All right, early line, 4.5 for GT. Break talk.
4.5.
Yeah, bro. And now we're favored for games. How often does that happen?
Prime time games.
Yeah, at primetime games. That has not happened in some years. So it's good to see that happen. Good to see the respect.
For sure. Another one, 34-17. There you have it, man. But I'm gonna throw it to you Afterswarm, man. I know you always ask, different things like that. So just whatever questions you got for me or Bacon that you want to just pick our brain or anything with the team or anything you got questions for us for, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah. Is it Najeh? How do you say your name?
Najeh.
Najeh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got you. Since you cover the team, you get the opportunity to cover team a little closely, than I do, obviously. What is your kind of overall feel when you walk in, maybe to practice or a presser or anything? Like, what's the difference? Do you feel a difference from this year to last year? Do you feel a quiet confidence or anything like that when you come in?
Good question. Definitely, I would say quiet confidence. I feel like this team knows that they're talented, knows that they're going to put in the work in order to be great this year. Coach Key is as confident as ever. He's not going to be one that really sway you any kind of way. He's very set, and then he kind of just goes about his business. He never really changes, so he's always just kind of just himself, essentially, I guess you could say. Yeah. But just around the team, confidence, man. I've talked to some of the players, and they just want to be great, man. Like Clayton Powley, for example, he wants to go out, and have a great year. This is it for him. Jamal Haynes, same thing. I was talking to him, asking him about the running back room, And he was like, I feel like this can make me better because then I could be more versatile. I ain't got to be used all the time on third down. You know what I'm saying? And I can maintain and keep freshness throughout the game, which I feel like I operate better that way. So like when he told me that in the press conference, I'm like, okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that's an area, you know what I'm saying, where they feel good about. Quarterback, they'll be just fine. And through the grapevine, you know what I'm saying, apparently Philo gonna get a little burn. I don't know to what degree, but they love themselves. They love them some Philo. I'll tell you that. Through a couple sources close to the team, they love some Philo. So you know what I'm saying, they really feel like he's special. And despite him being, I guess you could say QB2, he's still gonna get some kind of burn. Now, what that looks like on Saturdays, y'all, I don't know. But from what I've heard, he's supposed to get some burn, at least. And I think they feel really comfortable with the players they have. Everyone's brought in, and I think this team feels like they could be special this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dude, Aaron Philo is nasty.
Yes,
like he is very, very talented. Just watch. I mean, I do like you. True freshman getting thrown into a game, you know, in some of the situations that he's been thrown into. It's like, hey, we're playing the 4th team in the country. Our starting quarterback can't throw the ball more than 5 yards. We need you to play. All right, cool. And goes in, delivers. Hey, we need you to go play. We need you to go, you know, lead a game-winning drive against NC State. We
come
need
on.
you.
Lost all the momentum.
Hey, I got you. Yeah, and lost all of it. Like
all
literally, it flew out of the building and had no chance to return.
Literally,
and still get it done. Like he's got it. Like he definitely has it. So I mean, Haynes King is my guy, bro. I've been watching Haynes King since he was at Texas A&M. I went to school. I actually went to Oral Roberts in Tulsa, in Oklahoma. So when he was at Texas A&M, I was still in school, and I was or still kind of in that area, still living in Oklahoma and everything. And so I watched him because a lot of my friends were Texas A&M fans. So like I've kind of watched him the whole time, his whole career, and has always liked him because I always thought he was tough. Like he, you know, obviously is quick. That throwing motion that he had at Texas A&M was hot garbage, but looks 10 times better now. Like that's my guy, and like probably my favorite player on the team, just like probably, you know, thousands of other people out there. But Aaron Philo is definitely up next, and they should be excited that he is up next because the dude has it. Like he's got it. I would say who would you say is the X factor on Tech's roster? Who would you say, like, if this dude is playing well and Georgia Tech is playing well, who is that guy for you?
Gosh, what a great question. Go ahead, Bacon. I'm gonna let you go first, man. That's such a good question.
Man, I say Jamal Haynes is a good recommendation. Malik Rutherford, obviously, and I gotta go defensive side too, just to, you know what I'm saying, balance it out. I'm gonna go. You gotta go big man in the middle, Jordan Vanderberg for sure. Solid 3.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Thanks.
That's a really good pick.
They've been high on him. Najeh, in the interview, Najeh, there was him saying he was talking different. And they was talking different about him on the telecast, like him and what's the offensive lineman, red hair? I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. Keelan Rutledge, they've been going back and forth in practice. It's kind of like a stalemate. So anytime you hear that, man, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big J.
Man, that's a good pick. Hey,
it's a good one. Offensively, if the offensive line, they ain't got to be the same type of tier they were last year. Only I think it was like one of the best ones. They allowed like maybe 3 sacks, maybe at that. If the offensive line can play well, they can mesh well. I mean, they're gonna be a lethal combination because you can run and you can pass the ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm going to say the receiver group. That's going to tell me a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to signal out just one, but the receiver group, because if they are playing at a high tier and you got what you got in that darn backfield with Jamal Haynes, Hosley, and J.P. Powell and Traylon Madison, he's thumping. Look out. I think the one player I'm going to say is an X factor is Traylon. The reason I do, get a ball off to Jamal Haynes, get a ball off to Hosley. All right, we need to get these boys up out of this game. And you got a thumper and him coming into the game? that can average 6 yards a carry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's going to lull defenses to sleep. If he can stay healthy, he's lulling defenses to sleep. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be up 14-7, whatever it is. They're going to go on a long. Remember last year now, they was going them long 10-play type drives, just wearing the defense out. And then you bring him into the game, good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good luck. So I will put
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and then on defense, I'm going to say defensive line. Because I told you, I already think that this secondary is going to be special, right?
Right.
So, defensive line wise, I'm gonna put it on Braden Manley. If he can have a year, remember now, SoCon Defensive Player of the Year, All American. We don't need him to go and do what's that guy from South Carolina? Not Shamar Stewart, Kyle Kennard. Like we don't need him to go 15 sacks. If he can get us between 7 to 10, I think they got a potential chance to be special because you got Vandenberg, you got Alexander in the stout in the middle. They gonna help in the run game. But if you got somebody on third down that can go get that quarterback and contain and make big plays, I think he holds the keys.
That is I'm glad that you said that. I'm actually kind of looking something out right now. You said 7 to 10 sacks. I'm trying to figure out when was the last time we had a guy get 7 to 10 sacks.
I agree, Adams or Christian. I agree
because that would be an all-time season. The last guy, obviously, I knew it would have been this guy, but Keon White in 2022 had 7.5. Then we had the next before that. That's going to be dang 7 to 10 would be unheard of for a Georgia Tech defensive end, a Georgia Tech defensive lineman in general, because we just haven't had the dudes, and we've seen success. We've been able to win games. We've been able to figure out how to do it, but before that, man, we just didn't have it. So I would say, yeah, man, that's a good pick. But defensive line, the last Patrick Gamble in 2016, again, that 2016 team I mentioned had 7.5 sacks as well. So 2 times in the last 10 years we've had somebody get more than 7 sacks. Can he do it? Maybe. If he does, I think our team is better off for sure. That's a good pick. Who are you most excited to watch?
Ooh, great question, man. What am I most excited to watch? I got to go Dalen, man. I doubt that was a key keep for Georgia Tech because
Dalen Gordon.
No, Penton, not Gordon.
Okay. I was like, whoa.
I don't know how much he gonna see the field, bro. You know what I'm saying? No, not Dalen Gordon.
No disrespect, but whoa, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that.
Nah. Dalen Penton, man. What is he gonna look like? How quickly when he comes in the summer can he get and maybe even see the field? Right? Is that nickel? Is that helping with safety? Right? Because how I imagine visually this defense, I put it similarly with what Texas was able to do. They had guys that could play any position
everywhere.
Everywhere. So if you got Penton, he can blitz off the edge, and you got a Swiss Army knife in him, with a Tate Harris potential in the back end with Omar Daniels, his hard hitting self. And that's why I think they have the potential to be special because so many of those guys can play so many different positions. Same with Clayton Powell-Lee. Nobody knows it. He can blitz now. Go back and look at that Georgia game. He was in that backfield making some hits. So when you got multiple players that can do that, makes them special. So I would say I'm most excited to see Dalen. I want to see what we do. And Malachi Hosley. What is that going to look like with obviously Jamal Haynes? That would be my 2 I'm excited to see.
What about you, Bacon?
I'm going to say I'm a big fan of Amari, man. I like Amari. To me, he's got his own island over there, man. I know he got dinged for that big hit on LeBron in the spring game. But him And I'm and Isaiah Cannon. I got a chance to see him in his high school career down at Warner Robins. Chase Lane was high on him this offseason, talking about him in on Twitter. So I want to see how he emerges in the offense. I think he's a maybe like a Isaiah Evans, cause he's big body, but I'm not sure about if he's an elite route runner. So that's why I want to see how he pans out this year.
To your point, real quick, Bacon, Haynes King actually talked about Amari Harvey and said we have to think twice, like throwing his way. And he cerebrally basically was saying, like, you know, he makes you think twice, right? Like we gotta not just throwing aside because he can make a play, but he really challenges as quarterbacks mentally thinking. When you're a quarterback, your starting quarterback saying that makes you think a couple times, bro.
Nah, he's a dog, man. He got that mentality. Knows how to really bait receivers, playing the zone, you know what I'm saying, playing man, real sticky. He might, I ain't gonna say it, but you know what I'm saying, potentially can be a top 3, you know what I'm saying, maybe top 1 in cornerback in the ACC, and we'll go from there when we get to that point.
Man, y'all making some bold claims, bro. I love it. I love it.
That's how we are.
I'm a competitor. I like to talk junk. I love it, dog. But I think Amari Harvey, like you said, Amari Harvey has become one of my favorite players on the team. Dude plays hard, plays with attitude. That's something that I think Georgia Tech has been missing. Like we don't have. It felt like we didn't have any like attitude dudes who had confidence and were not afraid to like show it. I think Amari Harvey is that kind of guy. You remember his hit on Tez Walker in the North Carolina game 2023 to force that fumble to secure the win. You got his hit. He had a few hits in that Florida State game. That goal line stand against Georgia State, him coming off the edge. Yep. Like, dude is not afraid to like get in there and get his hands dirty and lay some hits. So he's definitely one of mine as well. But I gotta agree with you, Najee. I think Hosley is. I'm excited to see what that looks like too. It'll be the first time that we've had a legitimate 1-2 punch at running back. You know, we thought we had a 1-2 punch with Jamal Haynes and Trey Cooley, especially how Trey Cooley started the 2023 season, and then obviously got hurt, you know, during the Florida State game, and then you saw Chad Alexander come in and earn his spot and earn his keep and really play well. Now we got like a 1-2 punch between two guys who have proven that they can play the game and they can run the ball. But then even on that, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch right now of guys that like could make some noise. And so I'm excited to see Hosley play, and I'm excited to see how it translates from him coming to Penn. But I'm excited to see the running back room in general. Like I'm ready to see what that looks like. I feel like we finally have a stable of guys that can actually play and get some clock. And I'm ready to see what it looks like. Because what people are not remembering is like they're naming Trelane Maddox, they're naming JP Powell, they're naming obviously Hosley, they're naming like the young guys, but like we still got Chad Alexander. To my knowledge, Chad Alexander hadn't transferred yet. He hadn't announced that he was transferring yet. So like
he's going to.
Chad Alexander was a solid dude who earned a scholarship, who like put us into position to win some games, like played well when Jamal Haynes was hurt. So that running, bro, is stacked, and I'm hyped. I'm so excited to see that running back room come back to what it should have been years ago, man. So we'll see. It's gonna be a good year. I'm excited. I hate that it's April. I wish it was August already.
Nah, facts, man. And before we let you ride, man, I just want to ask you, we got to talk about this Nico situation, man. So I want to get your thoughts, man. We got a comment too from a fan. Let me pull this up as well, man. I think he missed it, but he said, I'm sure I missed it, but is there any way for y'all's input on the Nico situation? As a Tennessee fan, I'm dying to hear some honest opinions on the fact of the matter.
I think Tennessee Niked up, how you say your name, bro. I think Tennessee did the rest of the college football world a favor. I think they set the precedence for how this next phase of NIL and paying players is going to look like. You got a player, I mean, look at his stats, 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. let's not forget Haynes King threw for 2,200 yards. I believe he was responsible for 25 total touchdowns and had 3 interceptions. Now, obviously, he ain't playing SEC defenses week in and week out, but I don't know if that screams $4 million a year quarterback. So I think Tennessee did everybody a favor by not bowing down to that and saying, all right, man, if that's what you want, you can hit the door. Now, I thought the crazy thing that I saw, the headline that I saw was Nico Iamaleava, how you say his name, in Tennessee part ways. I thought that was wild to see for a college player. Like parting ways as if school is not like a thing. Like it's professional sports at this point. That was wild. But I think money is important. Sure, yeah. I think players should get paid, but I think you got players that need to kind of, read the room a little bit and stay in their lane. But I think you got teams that need to teams are going to have to police. Like it's going to have to police itself. And I think Tennessee did the college football world a favor. So wherever he lands, I'm sure he's not going to get $4 million. I think this is kind of similar to what that quarterback from UNLV did earlier this season. Kind of sitting out because his NIL payments didn't come through. That dude effectively just killed his college football career. Because if I'm a coach, that is the complete opposite kind of dude that I'm trying to bring into my program. And I think Nico kind of has that same energy. So I think he's talented, and I think he'll find somewhere to land. But I don't think it'll be North Carolina. North Carolina just got they're looking at that South Alabama.
Lopez. Lopez. Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's going to pan out, but it's a crazy situation. It's dumb. I think this will bring on contracts. I think in the next 2 years, you'll see players coming in, signing 2-3 year deals with buyouts, the same way you see coaches signing deals. I think they have the same thing for players.
Your reaction, Baker?
It's time for that, man. Though a lot of attention is going to Nico, and I'm saying rightfully so. But he's still a kid, still a young man. And we saw his father in the headlines. I'm not gonna, talk too much about it. But being a young man, you're only impressionable mostly from your father, and that's where a lot of it stems from with these players. But to your point, brother, it's time to do the contracts. You don't want these players money grabbing. You know what I'm saying? Once we see here, we got the hams color coordinated. You know what I'm saying, with a Tennessee logo. So NIL is definitely alive and well, but we'll see. I think he'll still be able to get a team because he is very talented. I'm see what Miss Nancy said real quick. Even Kirby said he wanted players that wanted to play. They wanted to play, not just worry about the dollars. That's 100%. We don't want to see the college players be so comfortable. You get a couple million. Oh, I'm finna go day trade. I'm finna go do this, and you're not putting all into the craft because it takes dedication. It takes, depriving yourself from social circles. You know what I'm saying? When you get money, what you want to go do? Trick off, spend some money. So I think it's good as we're seeing this kind of crack down because we don't want to see things get out of hand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree, man.
Yeah. Oh, my take. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting situation. I've heard some stuff through the grapevine on it too. I heard they've already been paying him good money. What he wanted to make. I've heard through the grapevine, it comes from the dad. They're not being satisfied with them hitting the portal enough, and getting in the talent. That's what I've heard through the grapevine as well, and they're spending it a different kind of way. And again, that's per sources. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of what everyone's seeing with the headline with the money, I say yes, a pay increase. I think $4 million is a little much. I said about 3.5. But what you do in that situation, though, you don't miss practice, bro. And 100%. You don't miss meetings. Sorry. If it don't work out, bro, it don't work out. But that's a bad look in terms of the locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? So in terms of that, he should have went to the spring game. He should have went to his meetings and practice. If you can't get it worked out by the time the transfer portal opens on Wednesday, then you do what you do. But I think the whole blame has to go to the NCAA. You got to put some guardrails somehow on this. You know what I'm saying? It's just been a free-for-all. I'm all for players getting their money. But at the same time, man, there's certain things that should be in the contract, to y'all point, that you have to abide by. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Grade point average, whatever that is. This is not just a free for all, right? Tennessee also, y'all know they went up on their tickets, right? You know they charging fans more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, they actually trying to pay the players. So it's like, you know, I feel them making it, but I think the part with the players, they got to understand, don't lose sight of the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal ain't NIL, bro. The ultimate goal is the league. You not finna make no NIL money. Did y'all see Justin Herbert contract? Do y'all see what backups are making?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That should be your goal, bro. Work towards that. If I get a little funds while I'm there in the college football, cool. You know how many people ain't making a couple million a year? Come on, bro. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, keep in sight of what is really matters and what is really important. No, not everybody's gonna make the league. I feel y'all understand, but at the same time, bro, keep in sight of what was really important, because you ain't gonna make no $250, $300 million on no NIL. I don't care. Nobody say.
Nah. If you are, we've gone too far.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We have made a wrong turn somewhere. If somebody's making $250 million playing college sports, we got to blow it up at that point. So I totally agree with you. Totally.
100%, man. But Afterswarm, man, before we let you get out of here, man, any closing thoughts or last questions, man? You've been great. You make me want to have you on, man, a little bit more during the season, man. This is a great talk and chat, man, for real, man.
Hey, I'm cool with it, man. I appreciate you guys for having us. Like I said, we're small. We're still trying to grow, still trying to gain new subscribers and everything like that. And so, doing stuff like this, being able to kind of be exposed helps us. And so we appreciate y'all for letting us come on and talk about Georgia Tech. Honestly, dude, I'll talk about Georgia Tech for free. I love it. I love the Yellow Jackets. I love being in Atlanta. I love, this. I love everything around it. So anytime I can help, anytime I can be a part of it, just let me know, man. I'd love to come back on.
100%, man. And Ms. Nancy agrees, said you're doing a great job, man. So, yeah, Bacon, I think we got our guest for the season, man.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to work through his schedule and see if he can do Monday nights during the season after games. But I think we got a guest to break down all the tech stuff we seen from the week, and then he be going to the games too. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, he's electric.
I'm committed, bro. I'm committed. Y'all let me know. I'll be there.
Say less, man. Much love, my brother, man, and we gonna stay in touch, man, and be in contact for sure.
Yes, sir. I'll see y'all. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. All right, man. There goes Afterswarm. We got a couple comments in the comment section, man, so that we'll address, man. But man, all my Georgia Tech people, yo, love y'all, man. Y'all been in the comments going crazy. Bacon, we are up to 570 viewers on this stream. Shout out to the Tech fans, man. 300 on my X page, 247 on yours, and in and out up to high point of 15 on YouTube, man. Much love to y'all. And again, hit the comment section down below, because a lot of y'all said y'all want me to do more of these. So what is some content y'all want to see? I want to appease to y'all and talk about topics that y'all want to see. I don't want to just make this a show that we just see stuff when we talk about it. What are some things y'all want to see us talk about on Mondays? Because every Monday we basically do a show football related, and we obviously always hit something with Georgia Tech, whether it's a transfer portal, our thoughts on the team. So whatever y'all want to see, we also be doing college football in general more this season. So whatever y'all want to see, man, y'all hit the comment section down below on YouTube, X, just different things y'all want to see content-wise while we on live, man. Please do that in the comment section. All right, let's get to a couple comments I wanted to address. Miss Nancy had a good one. She asked about the 26 class. Here we go. She said, Najeh, what's your take on the potential of 2026 recruits? I think a really good DB class, a really good corner class, I should say. Coach Kobe Jones is doing a great job. Travis Stevenson has a lot of potential, very physical defensive back. You look at Jaden Terry, who's the cousin of Justice Terry over at Texas, ball hawk. You know what I'm saying? A guy that's going to go get those interceptions, right? Physical, but just reads the ball well, has really good hips, and knows how to break at the right time. And you're looking at somebody that can be, I think, when he gets to college, and Georgia Tech can definitely keep him, looking at a guy that can get easily between 4 to 5 interceptions, potentially a year. He does have that kind of potential. So he's special. LJ Crumity, very underrated guy. I think he'll probably man the slot in college, but a guy that very attention to detail. You know what I'm saying? Can see the play before it's happening, read and react, and make big plays. Very good tackler in open space as well. In terms of the rest of the class, quarterback is an interesting spot. They obviously like Mason Holtzclaw out of Carrollton, so we'll see what they're going to do there in terms of recruiting him. They have another player they like really good at the quarterback spot, but nothing really has honed in just yet. They got a lot of quarterbacks. You look at Guthrie, look at Grady Adamson. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. In terms of receiver, they really like Josiah Dozier, who's obviously at USF. They got a couple guys that's on their radar still for the wide receiver spot. So they're still working through that a little bit, still figuring that part out. In terms of running back, they really like that kid, CJ Givers, who's been blowing up in recruiting. Ohio State practically has every offer. They like him. They like Jerrion Campbell out of McEachern. I feel like the back that best fits Tech would be Givers.
Yeah.
Givers could potentially be special. I like what he can do on the gridiron. Very smart, cerebral kid. I talked to him on my channel multiple times. Kid is special. So that's kind of what you're looking at running back spot. Receivers still kind of, we'll see what they do. Tight end, they might add one or two guys, you know what I'm saying, potentially. But they feel really good about that position as well. And then, I'm going to continue to try to get more intel and kind of see. But that's kind of currently where they're at right now. And we'll obviously see, what they're going to do. And I think they'll be very aggressive with getting a couple of defensive line recruits as well when we look at that. So that is interesting. But I'll have more details. Anything I hear or see, I definitely will let you guys know for sure. Another good one, Bacon, I'll let you answer this one. Thoughts on Colorado retiring Hunter and Sanders numbers? My quick thoughts, they should. I know they didn't win a title. I know they didn't make the college football playoff, but you can't tell me they didn't have a big impact on that Colorado program in terms of people wanting to see them and watch them, being on primetime TV, and basically just taking over the whole college football world. They were so fun and special to watch. And even when Colorado was playing late on 10, 11 o'clock, people were trying to watch them boys play. So you can't say they didn't have a grand impact. Both were special. Definitely deserve to have their numbers retired.
Nah, definitely, man. I believe the whole nation was watching the Colorado Buffaloes play anybody. You know what I'm saying? The Colorado State-Colorado game was probably the most televised game in a while. And I don't know if this is for sure, but those two had definitely different walks to Colorado. Starting out at Jackson State, I believe they should retire their jerseys there. I know it kind of ended how people didn't think it was supposed to end, but one of the few players who had their faces in the CFB 2025 game, so that lets you know everything you need to know, man. It's countless of memorable moments. The walk-off touchdown. Who was that again? I can't remember, but there's a lot of highlights, man. There's definitely two generational type of talents that will go on to the league, and we think will have spectacular careers, man. So hats off to them, those two young men, for sacrificing the time and sacrificing the time for greatness.
100%. I agree. I mean, well said about Bacon. Definitely deserve it. They are pillars of Colorado football, man, and they were special to watch. So 100%. In terms of who are their transfer portal targets, I think they obviously had some guys they're interested in. I think they're still going through the list and eyeing who's going to hit that portal on Wednesday. So I'll probably have a little bit more intel then, but they're going to look at safety as a position. So definitely expect them to be aggressive when it comes to that. Defensive line, as we talked about, as well. Joshua Horton just hit the portal. That may be a guy to try to look at to beef up the defensive line. He formerly played here in obviously in Georgia. So he's going to be a guy to kind of watch and see what he does. Played at Langston Hughes with Coach Boone at the time. So he's going to be one to kind of watch. I think you'll see them potentially try to go maybe an extra linebacker as well. That'll probably be a position that they do too. But as of right now, safety, probably more defensive line help for sure. Maybe that guy Joshua Horton, they'll see what's in with that, and probably a linebacker or two. That's probably what they're going to kind of generate. Nothing really said at the moment, but that's kind of how that looks. And last question on GT, see more commitments soon. For sure. I think the coaches want to get out the spring. All right, because think about this. They just went through their spring. They can't really get them. I mean, they had the kids on campus at Georgia Tech, obviously, for UVs, which is unofficial visits. But now they can go out and go see these kids during that. And remember, they travel. So basically, they're going to have the interviews with the kids they got now. Then that whole month of May or towards the end, when spring practice starts, they're going to be traveling all over the country. Southeast, wherever the kids that they want to get So I definitely think you're going to see more, and especially OV season. So like May, early June, you're going to see more people for sure. Definitely committing. So you'll probably see a lot of that around that time as well. So for sure, I say give it 3 to 4 weeks, at most a month. You're going to see more people committing for sure.
I also want to bring up. We didn't talk about Daquan White. That's definitely another name that I'm interested to see how he develops in that Georgia Tech defensive back room. Played some sticky coverage this past weekend, so that's definitely a name for Tech fans to look out for. Daquan White, local kid out of Creekside High School.
There you have it, 100%, man. But that's gonna do it for obviously that. Great point out by Bacon. We'll go ahead and hit some of the topics before we wrap up the show for today. We already talked about Nico in that situation. But I do want to get your reactions, kind of staying on the college part, officially Bacon. But our guy, we know him well, man. I talked about some. I just did a video on him. But Jeremy Hicklinski, man, he's special. Yeah. I think just there's so much turmoil, obviously, right now in college football with just, coaches leaving and everything like that. But Jeremy has hit the portal. I talked about North Carolina, but obviously they're like Gio Lopez as a potential destination. That was before, obviously, all that materialized. And I said Tennessee. And the reason I said Tennessee, I think he can go in there and play. Like, you got a young guy, George McIntyre, who's a freshman.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then you obviously have, I said George McIntyre, and then Jake Merklinger, who redshirted. So, you know what I'm saying? Those guys are young. Jeremy at least played and had a little bit of burn last year. And he comes from a really good pedigree, really great family. And I think he could just fit into that well. They got some pieces over there at Tennessee, and that just seems like a great fit to me. And I don't think he's going to be that expensive. I don't think he's going to be $4 million a year. Nah, I think he could potentially be one of those guys you see, oh, they landed that guy, and he took this level forward. I think Jeremy has that kind of potential at the right place. I mean, he could thrive anywhere, but I think if he could go Tennessee or a top team or something like that, I think he could thrive.
Yeah, 100%. He's going to be Aaron Follow wherever he goes. Like Tennessee, he's going to be Aaron Follow 100%. He kicks the ball. He's a gamer. You can tell by the photo right here, man. He's intense. You know what I'm saying? Between the lines, he knows how to get the job done, man. 100%. I co-sign Mr. Hecklinski for sure.
100%, man. There you have it, man. Be interesting to see where he lands. Will be a lot of fun to follow as well. All right, man. Let's talk real quick, Bacon. One of these clips, man, it's been going up a little bit on X, but I just want to get your thoughts, man. You reacted with a wow emoji. Just what is your thoughts, obviously, on this? And just, this play, I thought this was probably one of the best plays I've seen, the weekend, this weekend, man. But
yes, sir. That's just focus, concentration with the hands.
So, Baker, what you think?
Man, insane, man. Focus, concentration, strength of hands, all goes into one, and you get a crazy highlight like that, man. That's next level. Not everybody can do that. That takes a lot of reps.
Yeah, no, it does, 100%. He's underrated. Like I said, doesn't have a big following, man, but plays at Collins Hill. They just lost Jeremiah Proctor. I think that kid, Jaden Hunt, will be the next in line, man. They always have good players on the defensive side of the ball. And he plays really sticky coverage. I think he has great potential. So he was one of the ones that caught my eye at the tournament. Kieris Miller, I'm going to highlight him as well. He was another one that was really, really good. He's going to be at Carrollton, wide receiver / tight end. Real big, physical, good catcher of the football. I think he has great potential. And then this kid here, man, I haven't posted it yet anywhere. It is on my YouTube handle. I'm contemplating on posting it. Maybe you can help me, give me some tips, your advice on what you think, if it's post worthy or not. But I just thought, being grabbed like that play, I think just talks about his potential as well. Let me see. All right, I think this kid is an elite catcher of the ball. I think his potential through the roof. He's young, only a freshman. Next year he'll be a sophomore. The dude's all over him. and then he goes and skies. Difficult catch, locate the football. I mean, he's been making that kind of play all throughout the 7-on-7 circuit. So, what's your thoughts on that, Bacon?
Man, Maddox Davis is elite. Who's it? I'm trying to think of a good comparison, but it's like you said, this isn't the first time we've seen him go up and make crazy catches like that. I won't be surprised if the kid playing a little basketball. That's a box up move right there. You know what I'm saying? That's something Antonio Gates, Mike Evans, you know what I'm saying? I had to go Mike Evans again there, but you know what I'm saying? He's just a natural athlete. I'm sure he plays track. He's transferring to where again, Najee? To Cartersville, going to Cartersville High School. You know what I'm saying? Missing possibly filling that role of a Jamar Bryce, not the same type of athlete, but the same type of player who can make impact plays. Maddox Davis is definitely a name to know as he matures and gets older, but you know what I'm saying? Just a freak athlete, man. I got a crazy vertical, hand size, probably like an 8.5, 9. I'm just guessing. But yeah, he's legit.
Yeah, he is, man. Every time I've seen him, I've been thoroughly impressed. Potential through the roof, man. I can't wait to see what he looks like in that Cartersville offense. They already got Brady Marchese. You know what I'm saying, as a player, Jamar Bryce, obviously now with Tech. But he is potential through the roof. I can't wait to see what Coach Connor Foster does and how to use him, man. But it's gonna be hard to keep him off the field for sure, because just how elite he can catch and track the football, something special, man, to say the least, man. But all right, Bacon, let's go ahead and get into which teams are we most excited for to see during this spring as recruiting kind of heats up in less than 2 weeks.
This is high school, right?
Yes, sir.
Definitely Stockbridge for sure. Actually, let me backtrack and let me say during the high school, number 1. Stockbridge 2, Creekside 3, and I'm gonna round out and say, oh, it's tough. I'm gonna go 1A Sandy Creek and a 1B East Coweta.
It's a good list. I think for me, Woodward Academy, I want to see kind of how they look. Obviously with Mook, we've been seeing him a lot throughout the circuit, but just how does that look this year? They've had a good quarterback in Landon Walker, but they got a guy that can, I think, almost help them win the title potentially. But I want to see his development, you know what I'm saying, and how that's going to look. Going to have great receivers yet again. So that'll be a position to make them dangerous, in my opinion. So obviously them Stockbridge I've never seen. I want to see them up close. They had a great year last year, but they had to forge a lot of their wins, right? How does that look this year for them? Great quarterback, obviously, in Josh. Great weapons, great receivers. How does that look going forward for them? So I want to see that as well. I'm gonna go probably to New Manchester. I want to see what they look like. I've been hearing some buzz about some of the guys that got Jacob De Jesus. They got this kid at 6'7", offensive lineman. Want to see what he kind of looks like. I would say Bacon, probably a sleeping giant. They're gonna be in that same region with Rome, but they a team that got some really good potential moving forward. So I want to see what they look like. Obviously the Bufords of the world, seeing what that's going to look like this year. Gainesville's, they'll be intriguing. What does Milton look like with Derek Baker as their quarterback? You know what I'm saying? New year, new regime, new weapons, and they replaced a lot. You know what I'm saying? 2-time champs, but replaced a lot. So that's another team I'm excited to see. And then Jonesboro, Lovejoy. I can't forget about them.
Yes.
How do those teams look this year? You know what I'm saying? It's the year, really, if you're Jonesboro, if you're going to make some noise in 4A, right? 4A is loaded. It's deep. But can you make a run to a semifinals, to the state championship game? How would the young talent mesh with the veteran talent in the John Tavis Wyman and the Cortez Redden? So there's some teams I want to see.
100%. So I guess I need to elaborate on my teams. Noonan High School had a great year last year. Went to the second round of playoffs, I believe. Lost to Sprayberry. They were after being up. What are they up? 21. I think they scored the first touchdown and end up losing steam after that. But got a great quarterback in Brody Campbell. Rodney Coulter was also a tech target. They got Ashton Lawless. I'm saying young defensive lineman that people will learn about. Freshman, I believe he had 4 or 5 tackles for loss, 40 tackles. So he's a name to know for sure. And I said, who I said number 2? I said Stockwell. You already talked about Stockbridge, Coach Bama. They got something special out there, Gibo. You know what I'm saying? Gavin Kitchen, I believe is his last name. This weekend at Huncho 7, not Huncho, OT7, they came up short. They didn't get a win, but they had a couple guys saying from that team that made a couple splash plays. I also say East Kawita, Chance Gilbert, another target. They just got a lot of, and then the Twins. So they got a lot of things that's coming. You know what I'm saying? They're building. I guess a couple question marks going to be who's going to play quarterback this year. With them losing the senior quarterback last year, but they always keep some good things in the fold. East Coweta, Sandy Creek. We all know about Amari Latimer. We all know about where Dalen Pinson came from. It's a transition year. We got Caleb Hill, who I believe is probably a gem in the 2026 class. Got a big arm, very smart. Who else? Got a couple transfers in. Austin Nunez from East Coweta. I'm hearing they may have another splash DB come in, but I'm saying that team is going to be in prime position to go back and win another state championship in 3A football. Yeah, I think that's everybody. Say East Coweta, Noonan, Stockbridge. Yeah, I think that's everybody for sure. So that's my list.
All right, that's your list, man. All right, let's get into real quick, man. Just stay on the high school realm. Just transfers. Who are some guys you think could be the most impactful?
Most impactful, man. Number one, I'm gonna go Casey Barnum, man. Mr. Superman, transferred from Doug High School in Atlanta to McEachern. McEachern's supposed to be, I'm saying somebody to be a record with. And they're in 6A, right? Yeah, 6A. They're in 6A. We're gonna see how, because they got a couple transfers come in. We're gonna see if this team can be for real, man. And I think Casey Barnum was a big person coming in. Number two. We all know Darnell Kelly, man, going back home to Langston Hughes, where he won his first won his first state championship. I'm foreshadowing. But, you know, Darnell coming in, elite thrower of the football, cool, calm, and collected. Can he take this team to the next level? Already having Xavier Tiller, and I'm saying fourth potential 5-star, but 4-star tied in to go along with a talented wide receiver course. So Darnell number 2 and number 3, I'm gonna go Josh Hopkins, man, from transferring in from Johns Creek, going about and going with Caden Prothrow, being that kind of quarterback that they're gonna need with the senior quarterback leaving next year. Can he come in, make those throws, and you know what I'm saying, manage the game? As he's also elusive with his legs, so he can't get off, but can he take this team to the 4th straight state championship? That's gonna be a big question for me. So that's another big one. And I'll end off with Mike Johnson at Douglas County. You know what I'm saying? With DJ Bordeaux going back home to Colorado, can you come in and get this team where they were supposed to go last year? You know what I mean? Obviously, we saw James Johnson step in. Bordeaux went down, but can he come in and, you know what I'm saying, make it all work, make it all look flashy, make it all be explosive? So that's going to round up my list.
I'm going to go Teddy Gerard. You know, I've been hiring him for a long time. Smart kid, great family. North Cobb's been missing a little something. You know what I'm saying? Can he be the guy that gets them over that hump? You know what I'm saying? Now, last year they had a good run again. Then they made second round. Finally was able to beat, you know, a team. Great coaching, Shane Queen. Can Teddy get them over? They got everything. Zachary Bellew, Brandon Anderson, still Ingram, guys on both sides of the ball. Can they go and take that next jump forward? You know what I'm saying? Now, they've been owning that series against Walton. But remember, that year that Walton beat them, Walton made the state championship. Can North Cobb have that similar year? Will Teddy be that guy to kind of get them over the edge? That's kind of where I'm looking. I think he's special. I've always said that. So he's on my mind as one. Jamarian Matthews, Gainesville, right? He's going to make Xavier Griffin's job a lot easier, right? Then they got Aiden Kane in the middle. So can he win those one-on-ones coming over from Alabama and dominate with Xavier Griffin? Because they've been talking about that for years, playing with each other, and now it's come to fruition. So can they dominate? I think is the biggest question there. So he's another impact guy. I want to see what he's able to do coming from Alabama to Georgia, and how good that defensive front again is going to be for the Gainesville Red Elephants. So those would be like my top 2. Obviously Darnell Kelly, him going to Langston Hughes, playing with great talent. Xavier Tiller, obviously Carson Baker, and all those boys. So yeah, I definitely think he'll be a big impact transfer as well. So that would be my top 3.
Now, for sure, I do want to share a story about Mook. Like I said, I was watching OT7 this weekend. Who were they playing? I can't remember exactly who they were playing, but you know, it was a close game. It was like 7-14. They pulled Darnell out, put Mook in, drove down the field, but no timeouts, like maybe 24 seconds. they got like to the 5-yard line, and man, they didn't. The clock ran out, but it was just a little miscommunication. But bro, he drove down the field so effortlessly, man. Tight spiral, tight windows, brother. Young man, special man. So definitely be on the lookout for, you know what I'm saying, Prince Aminu for sure.
100%, man. He's gonna be that dude, man. When you look at freshmen and young players to watch, he's on that list to see what he can do early on with Woodward, and could be that one special player for them, man. So can't wait to see what he do, man. But Bacon, you got anything else in terms of high school topics you want to hit before we do a couple just quick film breakdowns to wrap up, man?
We hit the film, man.
All right, brother. Yes, sir, man. Gonna hit the film. All right, this is Royal Weber from Shiloh, man. Shiloh don't get a lot of burn. I know they got Tim Anthony, who's a special player out there, man. So we're gonna do a quick film breakdown on him. He's a linebacker. So we can go ahead and break it down, man.
Shout out Tim.
Shout out Tim, man. All right, this game against Woodward. See, he's right here.
Good blitz.
Ooh. Yeah, that was well executed right there. Love that. Came through, shot through the gap, and that's what they want to see. No hesitation. Big time TFL. 100% Bacon. Great TFL.
Against Creeks.
Ooh, Lord. Lord.
Good fumble.
I could say early already, I like the explosiveness. He not hesitating. When kids ask us like, yo, Najeh, Bacon, what you think about being a linebacker and things you need? This is what we're talking about, though. Like being explosive, forcing big plays.
Nice.
Open field tackle right there, blowing up the play. I mean, he's doing that.
Wow, what a shed.
And just went and got the quarterback, man.
Play a little safety here.
Boom.
Boom.
Ooh, that's against Tyson too, bro.
Oh, that's Brookwood.
That's okay. Brookwood, twin. Yep. 1-on-1 open space against Braden. That's a big boy too.
That's nice.
Yeah, bro. Great.
P4.
Oh, what a play, bro. What? Hold on. I like that. Jarred the ball loose, bro. Yeah, this kid's underrated, bro. He can play, though.
Okay, let's see him in coverage. Okay, just run D. Wow. Yeah, man. I'm from the college coach. I'm cutting out the table and calling around the coaches. This is the guy we need to offer.
Yes. Facts. Right here, kickoff coverage. Another great hit. Here he is here against Brookwood again. Force the air and throw. Good pressure. On the inside. Oh, good block shed. What a wrap up, bro.
First one downfield.
Excellent tackle.
In the big city of Duluth here. Scooped. Nice open field tackle.
Look at a couple more. See right here playing a little slot corner.
Yes, we need to see him in coverage. Nice. Very violent, man. Knows how to use his hands. Knows how to, just wrap the legs up. And prime example right here. And his timing is just impeccable, man. Knows how to just sit and hit the hole.
His coverage.
Back it up, please.
Yeah, so he is in the middle. Not his fault on this play, though.
No.
Take advantage of the zone. Probably going to chase him down. Come on, bro. Come on, man. One more. We'll look at one more. Coming to his side again. Yeah, man. I've seen all I needed to see. Bacon, go ahead. What is your assessment?
Man, I didn't see anything bad. I don't like to give out 10s, but I'm gonna go 9.5 here. Tim is that guy for sure. Been watching this film for a couple months now. Tim is he's legit for real. It's only up from here, brother. You know what I'm saying? Continue to stay patient.
That ain't Tim though.
What's that again?
That ain't Tim.
That's not Tim?
No, that's Royal Weber.
Royal Weber, excuse me.
Yeah,
Royal is legit. Royal is legit. 9.5, brother. Keep doing your thing. Stay down. Keep working hard. And the end is near.
I'm dead, bro. I'm dead. Bro, great film, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I tried to do a film breakdown on you, get it out. Yo, you can play. Like, very violent, big hitter, but you play controlled, like controlled aggression, controlled violence. I love it. Like, you can time up plays, you can contain your versatility that you show on your tape all over the field, playing safety, slot corner, linebacker. Yeah, colleges will love you. You just need the exposure, bro, at that point. So I say same about 9.5, not much more as you can see. Maybe a little bit in coverage, but I think you check a lot of boxes, brother. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Super, super special film. So 9.5 for me, brother. Keep balling, my guy.
Absolutely.
Sir. All right, Bacon. Last one of the day. We're going back out to Parkview for this one. And this will be Brock Simmons. So we'll go ahead and roll his tape after this ad, of course. All right, here we go. DB 5'10", 170 for Parkview High School.
Nice.
What a read. Look at that one more time. See where
Stays on the hashes here.
Great read right there. Waits to the right moment to break on the ball. Elite DB play right there. Love it. Okay, number 28. Here he is right here, y'all. Come to his side.
Good strip.
Great strip.
Well, he's got to be the one coming. Okay, opposite side. Never mind.
Opposite side. Collins Hill looks like. Yeah, way to finish the tackle. Here's again, single high safety here, looks like.
Be there. Ooh.
Yeah, close, man. That close to jarring that loose. Excellent break on the ball again. Here he is, breaking free. Oh, what a nice play.
This is Meadow Creek?
Meadow Creek, yes, sir. See, it's good feet.
Yeah.
Good read.
Quick.
Good tackle. I like it though. No hesitation, Bacon.
Yes. That's the first thing that jumps off the screen.
Same thing. Good feet. Good tackle.
Pad level is there.
Facts. During the long play coming to your side.
Closing speed.
Good open field tackle. Good open field tackle. Here he is again. Coming to his side. Wrap up.
Against West Forsyth.
Here he's playing corner, Bacon. He's over here.
Okay. In zone.
Good wrap up tackle. We'll look at two more. Good job there putting your head down. Good tackle again. Same thing. Play coming to his side. All right, last one. Good tackle again. All right, let's see it. Okay.
Good tackle.
Yeah. I say solid film for me before I throw it to Bacon. Young, so I think you only get better. 5'10", I think he's 27. So he'll continue to flourish. Playing with Adam Clack, he's always had pretty good defenses whenever he's been at the helm as a head coach. So bright future, brother. Just keep going. Great job in coverage. Only thing probably people say is your size. Your size 5'10", which is not bad. Probably just bulk up a little bit. I don't know where you are now currently. You probably are bigger. But 185, probably a good spot for you for 170 now. And then just, continue to work on your game, backpedaling. You have really good closing speed, which I like. Good open field tackler as well. But just, a couple more splash impact plays, forcing fumbles, turning those PBUs into interceptions. All that stuff is going to help you, stand out more on colleges when they check your tape.
Brock going to get you the rock. You know what I'm saying? 2027, 5'10". I think the kid's a baller. People gonna come at your size, man, but you growing. You got an extra year after this year. I'll just hit the weight room. Technique looks nice. Back pedal looks smooth. You still on the hash very well. You know what I'm saying? As you get bigger, you're just gonna be more violent with your hits. And I think that's what I was kind of looking for. Is when you're gonna plow somebody over, but you're probably gonna play free safety on the next level. But I know deep down you want to clock somebody. So, you know what I'm saying? Just clocking at the weight room, clocking on the meals, clocking on the protein shakes, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you're doing to get big, you're gonna be all right, brother. So I give him an 8, man. Kid got hard.
8, solid. I go 7.5. Room for improvement. Keep going. Solid film, but just keep working, man. You'll definitely get there, man. Last question from Tech Fan, from Arcs. He says Zaquan Patterson just hit the portal. Maybe a good GT grab. We'll see. He played at Miami. Productive year, 19 tackles. We'll see if they try to nab away from a potential, rival. Even though GT's been given to Miami the last few years, but that could be somebody that's on their radar. But definitely we'll have more and we'll react when we see more stuff for sure, man. But man, love the GT people, man. Y'all go crazy. Whenever I promote a live, I didn't even promote it on my Instagram. I just did X. Y'all always make it go crazy, man. So I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to figure out a good flow where I keep y'all tuned in. But whenever I talk tech, y'all always support, man. So much love to y'all. When I did my film breakdown with all the recruits, that one went crazy. So, man, much love to y'all, man. A great fan base at Tech that people don't know about. Real good fans, man. And I think this will be the year they make some noise, man. So I don't know. We'll see, man. I might incorporate some live reaction Saturdays or something after they play, even though that's hard because I'll be on a lot of the press conferences. But maybe a reaction, something. I'm gonna have to figure out something to engage with y'all to continue to do it because y'all support real hard, man. But Bacon, what's your last word, man?
Nah, man. Same, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in, chatting with us on this Monday evening, 6:30. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere around that time. Definitely very bullish on the Yellow Jackets. I think it's just gonna be a special year, and we're really gonna know what we're made of come week 1 and on. But you know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all rocking with us throughout the whole show, being very active in the comments. So salute to y'all, man. Much love.
Yes, sir. Salute to y'all. Much love. And look, Tech fans, y'all follow me on X if you're not already, man. For those that are following on YouTube, man, just give me a follow, man. Any content ideas, man, y'all hit the DM, you know what I'm saying? Or y'all comment on any posts I do for Georgia Tech and just let me know, man. Love to discuss it. I have Bacon with me every Monday night. And like I said, I think we're going to make that a thing with Afterswarm during the season, man. Bring him on and talk Yellow Jackets, man, and get his reaction because he obviously knows a lot about the program. In different position groups, man. I think that would be a fun show to have every Monday night after the games are over on Saturdays, man. So any ideas y'all have or any content y'all want to see, let me know and shoot me a follow on here and we'll address them all, man. But that's going to do it for the Sizzling News podcast. My co-host Arvon Bacon, the Bacon Network. I know he'd be busy, but appreciate him coming on today. You know what I'm saying? And we will see y'all Thursday, man. We got a lot in tune, Bacon. I know you've been ripping it. We might be trying to have a guest, potentially come on. We have Raw Digital. We're gonna try to get a couple more guests to come on this upcoming week. We'll be talking WNBA draft that's going on currently right now. We'll talk about the latest in the transfer portal as well. Darian Reed hit the portal. I'm sure we'll talk about that, and obviously the Nike Hoop Summit and much more, man. So we'll be here Thursday night at 8 p.m. So make sure y'all tap in with us, and we're gonna see y'all then, man. It's just as a news podcast. And we'll see y'all then.
Peace.